Dave King himself is on the line with us. Nice to talk to you, Dave. I believe you were partying last night.
Yeah, I must say I did have a little bit of a party with my legal team in particular. I think, Alec, as you know, you've kind of been involved in this matter for a long time. It has been many long and difficult years, so we did feel it quite appropriate after we left the court to go and have a little party.
I was trying to work it out. It goes back to specialized outsourcing 17 years ago, but when did you start with your legal challenge?
The issues with SARS probably arose around about 2000, so that's 13 years ago. But from a litigation point of view, in terms of the public eye, where you would probably perhaps first involved was 2002, when SARS got that first attachment order against my South African assets. So that's over 11 years of, let's say, high-profile litigation.
How do you come to a figure of 706 million? Clearly, there would have been a lot of negotiation, but there must have been some rationality to it.
There was no calculation as such to say we came to a specific number. I mean, it was very much a negotiation. That was an element of it. And where we really got to figure, I think, as Adrian said when I was listening to his interview, when I, in fact, started to probably, let's say, seriously engage with SARS, probably from about 2010, I found during the course of that exchange, as I started to give SARS some more information, and SARS had a very, I think, positive interaction with me. So despite the litigation, SARS was saying to me, Dave, if you actually come clean and share everything with us, we know you haven't done it up until now, because my concern, I think, was fairly obvious. There was criminal charges, there was a lot going on, and I was just very determined to try and keep a tight lid on the information flow. But what I found is once I opened up to SARS and they started looking at the information, they started getting more information from me, we were able to refine it and to get to a number that I think the SARS thought was fair to the state, and that I thought was fair in terms of the amount of tax that I should pay.
You were pretty contrite in the statement that came out last night, saying that it was a mistake not to cooperate. Very different from the earlier Dave King.
Yes. Well, I think, as I was saying a couple of moments ago, when this whole thing started in 2002, I adopted let's say, a bit of a siege mentality. I saw this onslaught. There was criminal charges, there was fraud allegations, there was exchange control issues, and I really kind of took this kind of total onslaught approach. And I was genuinely, in fact, very pleasantly surprised that when I did engage with SARS, and we've been doing this didn't happen over a couple of weeks. I mean, this has been going on for probably a year of serious negotiations. When I actually got to that point and found out how, make no mistake, SARS were very firm in the negotiations. They were very tough in the negotiations, but I did find that they were fair, they were open, and if I look back, it is something that I regret that I didn't do sooner.
You also say you will be filing all the tax returns from your family. How many are outstanding?
I'm due. Well, I've not filed any tax returns since 2002. So there's about 11 years of tax returns I've got to get up to speed with.
Wow. So that's a lot of work.
There's still a bit of admin to be done. We've got to the settlement, which is the most important thing, but there's still quite a bit of paperwork that I've got to put in place, and it does involve me restructuring, parts of my agreement with SARS and, in fact, with SARB, is I'll completely regularize my affairs, not only my tax affairs, but my exchange control compliance. So it means a lot of assets that were previously held in offshore trusts will now come into a South African trust. So there's more to my situation than merely a financial settlement. I have given an undertaking to the state that I've got this new chance. I mean, I'm in a situation right now where I have made settlement up until 2013. I will get my affairs in order, and I will just make sure that I maintain a level of absolute total compliance and transparency going forward. It's nice in a way to have almost a clean slate to go forward from.
Dave, two other issues that I'd like to touch on briefly. First of all, Rangers Football Club, the great love of your life, I suppose, outside of your family. You've been a director of the club. It has gone through all kinds of difficult times lately. Now that you've got this monkey off your back, are you going to be able to focus and maybe help rescue it?
It's something that's on my mind. In fact, I have had discussions at an early stage over the last couple of months where it's looking the club will need some more funds, and the issue I've had at this point in time is that I'd be interested in putting additional funds into the club by way of, say, a rights issue, but what I'm not keen to do is to do an acquisition of existing shareholders where the money goes to the shareholder and not into the club.
There'll be a lot of Scotsmen very happy to hear that news, that's for sure. And Micromega, your company listed on the JSE, you did take over as executive chairman a while back. It was up 27% yesterday, the share price. I guess another specialized outsourcing potentially.
But I think if one looks at Micromega, we have actually done quite a lot of work with the group, and I think the unfortunate thing that Micromega has had hanging over it for the last number of years, of course, is the threat by SARS of attaching the shares in Micromega. So both from an employee perspective and from a shareholder perspective, people were saying, well, look, if I get involved with the share or I do this or I do that, is it possible the shares could then be taken away? So I think it is really good news, I think, from a Micromega shareholder point of view, from an employee point of view. And I think, as Adrian said in his interview, it really gives me time to go there, go forward with Micromega. We have a lot of value in that group. I mean, I declined an offer, an unsolicited offer about 2 months ago to buy one of our South African subsidiaries for a value that's over twice the market capitalization of the company. So we understand there's a strong inherent worth there. But I say it really was seriously affected by the overhang of the SARS issue, and I think quite rightly so. So we're hoping that from an internal point of view that we can outgrow it. There's a lot of good things happening in the group, and if I can take the energy, which was considerable, that I've had to apply in managing as best I could the dispute with the state, and now focus completely on Micromega, then I'm hoping for some pretty strong results from the group over the coming years.